Okay, we're live. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to episode 42 of Manifesting with Meg. This is the month of July and fabulous freedom, and I get to end the month with this beautiful, beautiful woman. And I'm so excited to welcome you all to meet her as well, because it definitely was definitely worth the wait tonight. I have to say, it's been a very interesting journey this last month. I don't know, July, certainly I didn't expect it to be what it was, but certainly a lot around freedom. So I'm happy to say that the theme tonight is you be you. And like I said, I can't imagine a better person to share this evening with than this beautiful Dr. Delene Musielak. And before we go further, I wanted to welcome everyone, like I said, and welcome everyone to start manifesting their dreams. And to do so, I invite all of you to enter your comments in the side, and we'll try to answer any questions that you have as well. Be really cognizant of that, because I really want this to be an interactive play. This woman has a lot of wisdom and knowledge, and the things that she has accomplished in her very young life is going to just impress and knock all of your socks off. So I'm certainly ready and willing to have this whole thing go conversation style, because I know that's really the best place to actually get your questions answered. So without further ado, it's time to manifest the life of our dreams tonight. And this is an evening all around life transformation, living your dreams, spiritual inspiration, finding true happiness, and my favorite, discovering bliss. Bliss that is not just an abstract idea, but an attainable state of being. Whoever you are, wherever you find yourself, you are just steps away from living the life you desire, because while you do not have control over your external environment, you definitely have control over your mind and your thoughts. And that is something I want us to all be cognizant of, because we got a doctor in the house tonight. So not only are we bringing in the magic of the mind, but we have the science behind it too. But before we begin, Delene, I have to give your beautiful introduction, but I do want you to set your intention for this evening, because like everyone knows, manifestings are very intentional experiences. We like to have everyone really present and focused and clear that the message they'll be receiving tonight is something that will profoundly impact their lives. So set your intention, and then pick a number between 3 and 397 in my magical guide, which we've already taken care of, and off we go on this wonderful journey to bliss together. And I've said, when I called you back in, I think February, and I said, do you want to do this with me? I was like, yes. She said yes. So I was getting excited when people say yes to me, because they never know what's coming at them. And certainly I love the surprise of, everything that will unfold. So Dr. Delene, who's also the host of Dr. Mom Show, her journey began in her home country of Guyana, South America, where she was born and raised. She grew up in a Christian home with parents who are both pastors. Her parents played a vital role in her upbringing as a persistent, independent, strong woman, which I like. I like the strong women out there in the world. So at the age of 6, she migrated with her family to the United States. So she is a dual boarded in internal medicine and pediatrics. She cares for the whole gamut, or as she says, from the cradle to the grave. She does not stop there, though. She's persevered and continued to challenge herself to be a leader and best at everything she does. She's not only a full-time physician and associate program director, but a super mom of, yes, triplets. I said it, three. She has triplets. And honestly, you would never know it to meet her, because you would think that she'd look all frazzled and crazy, but she's so put together and so professional and so amazing that you're just like amazed at that alone. Not only is she an amazing surgeon, but she's an international best-selling author. I'm telling you, this lady is amazing. Motivational and wellness speaker and personal development coach and entrepreneur. She's my kind of girl. She doesn't like to settle with just, one thing. She has the runs the gamut. So in addition to that, like I said, she started her own Dr. Mom show where she's known as Dr. D, Mom of Three. And she serves as a medical informational resource for many people. And she also hosts a women's Facebook group called Fearless, Flourishing, and Fulfilled Female. So if you want the link afterwards, we'll be sure to make sure everyone gets that, which includes weekly challenges, recipes, health tips, and daily encouragement, which I get to benefit from every morning. When I see her pop up there, it's like, stop, we're all up, everybody get up. She's been featured in magazines, including Sheen, Miss CEO, Chicago Now, and Moments. She has been an expert featured on KSDK News and West News magazine. Her goal is to impact those around her by encouraging, empowering, and elevating them to reach their maximum potential. She enjoys sharing her own life experiences to help others do this. So we get her tonight as she continues to strive to be her best and gives God credit for all that she's accomplished in life. She hopes to be a female version of Dr. Oz. So we're going to make that happen. That's going to happen. So many people can live happier and healthier lives. And certainly at this time when we're dealing with COVID and the world with a lot of people, having a really hard time, we need people who are really interested in being that health mantle that we can all look to. So welcome. Thank you so much for coming. How wonderful to have you.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be on. I love Meg. Meg is amazing.
Well, on the heels of your huge Loveathon, I definitely want to commend you for that incredible event that you had, because what a mind-blowing experience just to watch it, and all the different talents and all the wonderful people that you had engaging. I mean, tell me, how was that for you, seeing this whole thing unfold? It must have been just such a proud and moment with you and your sister who was involved as well.
Yeah. So my sister Kenise and I hosted the Loveathon called One Voice, One Heart, One Nation Under God with a fantastic team. And Meg had the chance to, interact with some of the members. But everybody worked so hard, and essentially we were just trying to spread a message of hope, of love, of unity during this time where, between everything that's happening in the United States, to just encourage people, because I feel like a lot of people have been down. So it was huge. We've been working on it for a long time. So when it came together, it was like, my sister said, I feel like it's my wedding day. And, I feel like this is, your baby, and it's coming, and, you see it grow and be birthed. So it was really nice to see everything come together at the end.
And it really was flawless. Like, it's hard to really believe that you're a surgeon. And this
I'm an internist and pediatrician. My husband is a surgeon.
Your husband's a surgeon, and you're an internist and just an internist and pediatrician. Like, I would never say that. But that you're producing this, I mean, it was flawless from the time it was a countdown initially until actually the first, introduction happened. It was just such a beautiful opportunity for me, at least, and I'm sure many people who tuned in just to watch this labor of love, literally Loveathon, to be out in the world to tell people that we're together. We may have things that divide us, but we're all together. And I found how proud you must have been. I just
it's really just everybody on the team. It was all hands on deck. I don't think any one person could take credit for that, because everybody was working. We were, at the end, we were making fun because we were texting each other maybe like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, because, people were just always working on the project. So it was definitely fun to be a part of a group that was so hardworking and dedicated to it.
And it definitely was a success. And I'm sure you said now the next one's going to be an international event.
Yeah. We were
super excited to see you guys dazzle doing that. I can only imagine. It's fun because you and I actually met at this event at Essence Festival last year, and I love this picture because first of all, you're gorgeous, Jessica's gorgeous, and we were having such a fun vibe, and we were having such a good time that I felt like it was only for 2 days we were there, but it was like, oh my God, I love these people. And Kenise, I don't think was there, was she?
No, not at that one.
No, she wasn't. Kenise is Delene's sister, who's this powerhouse. And yeah, it was just like this great vibe of really powerful, empowering women all in one place. And it was exciting to be there. And you told me at that time that you had a book, called the Mom. Tell me about your first book that you had actually published.
Yeah, so it's called MOM, MOM, and it stands for Meditate, Overcome, Motivate. And it's a 30-day devotional workbook journal. And it's really to encourage. I was just inspired. I feel like God laid it on my heart after I had the baby. You would think, like, where did I find time to do that? As I was, like, breastfeeding and doing pumping and everything else. But I think God laid it on my heart because for some time, I was overwhelmed, and I feel it's hard to find somebody who you can go to and say, like, oh my goodness, having these 3 babies at the same time is overwhelming. And I just felt in my heart that I wanted to share something to encourage other women and other moms that each day it's an affirmation that you are beautiful, you are strong, you are courageous, you are needed. So each day just gives an affirmation, a verse, also a challenge, like what can you change today based on this affirmation, and who can you impact in a positive way? So that's where that came from.
I wrote down, you are beautiful, you are strong, and you are impactful, because literally that is something that as we do as human doings, instead of just realizing that the who we are is more than that. And this is a beautiful inspirational that you can bring to the table to remind people that is necessarily what you need to be thinking in life, because honestly, the meaning and the purpose is there when you do things like that. So we're talking about your triplets, and I have to show this picture because it's absolutely gorgeous of you, and also, of course, your wonderful husband, who I love this picture. I was like, this is absolutely, but from these two came this 3, and that's big family. So, and I know you're a big family person as well. I know that's important to you. Tell me a little bit about your start of your journey with regard to, where you are right now and where do you want to go with all of this, because it's a lot. So.
It is. I mean, for sure, there is a lot going on. And like Meg mentioned, we're obviously, glutton for punishment. There's just this drive, this ambitious drive, and, this want and desire to leave a legacy, and, what you leave to be, again, going back to that word impactful, that you're not just doing something that has no meaning, but you're doing something that has meaning and will impact people even when you're not there. So in addition to everything that Meg mentioned that I'm doing, there is so much. Sometimes I can't even keep up. But like you mentioned, I ultimately really want to see my coaching grow. And again, my Dr. Mom show go on national TV. I really enjoy that, especially now. There's, so much information out there. And one reason I started the Dr. Mom show was just so people would have an evidence-based resource to go to. Because I know people post on blogs and Facebook, and, we're all human. We have a tendency just to read there. You just believe what you read. And one thing I've learned as a physician is my job isn't to convince people to take a certain medicine or to vaccinate their kids. That's not my job. My job is to make sure that you're well informed so you make the best decision for yourself and your family. So that's a huge reason. And I feel in media, the Dr. Mom show, I really focus on women's health and kids. And I feel there's just a gap in that right now, and that's how I would love to do that. So,
well, were you already practicing as a pediatrician before you had the triplets, right?
Yes, I was right. Yeah.
So it's kind of like it's kind of like, well, that's good.
Which is very different. Like, being a pediatrician is completely different from being a mama.
Oh yeah, that is absolutely true. But I think that at least if you had any questions, you'd be calling yourself at that point, like, what's going on here? Because I know, when I have my 2 kids, but I know when things went wrong, you were like, clearly, it was on speed dial, and I was probably bothering people like you because I was, so clueless. But I love how you said that you see your job as informing others and being well informed, because I think that's really important. When you make decisions with your health, you're not making them for the person, it's you giving them the information so they can make a solid decision. I love that philosophy because people they don't take responsibility for their health. They kind of dial it in, like, oh, well, this is what the doctor told me, and they blame others, But the fact is when you give people information, at least that they can base it upon that. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I love the idea of you on a national, scale, because I think that the way you engage people is very really impactful, like you were saying before, because your message is so powerful, because you come from an immigrant family. Your parents took the leap of faith to come over here to this country. How many years ago has it been now?
I mean, now it's been, let's see, 16, 26, so 30 years.
30 years. So 30 years they came over here, starting a new life with a new dream, with their beautiful daughters, and there you go. And the thing is that when you have those kind of people as an example, it's no surprise to me that you've done with what you've done with what it's quite a legacy that you were speaking to before, and then how they've empowered you to create your own legacy, which is what you're doing, which I think, coming from that kind of background as well, I see that in you. And now going to our theme of the day, you being you. And it's interesting because I usually pair the day with the insight, and since we had to move the interview from the Monday to now to Wednesday, I think it's like a double, everyone gets a double message today. And you be you, the concept of, the quote from Shakespeare, to thine own self be true, it must follow as night the day, thou canst not be false to any man. And that's amazing, because your authentic self shows through. And I don't know if you want to speak to that, because I think it's truly empowering and powerful when you think of life that way, coming through your lens of this authenticity. And maybe you can speak to that now with regard to how you see through that lens, to thine self be true.
Yeah, I mean, I feel being yourself and being authentic, who you truly are, equates to your inner and outer happiness. It's really hard. That saying, you can fool some people some of the time, but you can't fool everybody all of the time. So, some people can put on a facade, but ultimately you just can't keep that facade on. It becomes too much work. And I'll give the perfect example. So even on my show, I'm very laid back. When my kids come into the office, or even my patients, I joke around. But I know there's some people who they're like, hey, when I have a doctor, I want my doctor to be serious to the point. And, that's just not my personality. But, I attract my patients because they're like, hey, it's so easy to talk to you. I feel like I'm speaking to my friend. My patients know about my family, that I have the triplets, and it's just a rapport you build. And I think that's something special to me. And, the same way I act on my show, the same way I act on, act in my practice is the same way I act with my family, because that's who I am. And when you are authentic too, I think you fully fulfill your true purpose, because you're true to yourself. And hey, people may look at me and be like, who does she think she is? She's like this doctor who's saying she wants to be the next Dr. Oz. But you know what? That's me. There's not every doctor wants to do that. And it's so funny, because even at where I work, the marketing girl, she's like, oh my gosh, you're one of the only doctors that when, a magazine wants a doctor to say something, you're all on it. You're the first person I call. And she's like, lots of doctors don't want to talk. They don't want to say, and you know what? That is just not everybody. Yeah. So I truly do feel it is important to be yourself, be authentic, find who you are. And that's how you're going to live your happiest life, because you won't have to spend energy and time pretending to be somebody else or something else.
Plus, you probably don't have a lot of extra energy to go around 3-4-year-olds that are, always around. I laugh. One of the things that I love about you is that you do have a chill vibe, and it's really quite amazing when you're in your presence, because it's a calming presence. And it's funny because we were having some problems with technical difficulties, and I know you're like, and I'm like, I'm good.
I know you were so laid back. I was like,
no, not me. It's like, maybe I'll learn something today. But I think honestly, it's because you showed up. because if it were another one of Meg's, it would be like explosion. But it's so funny that you were saying that the authenticity, because you are intended to be exactly who you are. There are no mistakes in life, and honestly, I love that you see something that really you aspire to, because it's that professional growth, and that makes that whole moving on and growing and being curious about life is really what brings the happiness factors, and the neuroplasticity of your brain makes it, builds you up, because you're yearning or you're driving towards something, which is definitely you're building that incredible foundation, and then life rises to meet you, right? And then, like you were saying, like we were saying, what intentionally, it was more like your vibe attracts your tribe, right? So that, and it's like I do this, but your vibe is really like what you said. So I was like to how does all of this resonate with you, as far as your impact of your who and who you're becoming? I think that's really amazing to actually ask the question, because that's what makes you so extraordinary.
Well, I think I think a lot of times we don't realize how many people we impact, because sometimes it could be something as simple as a smile when somebody's having a bad day, or sometimes I'll get patients who come in and, if they're suffering from depression, and I always try to keep a smile on my face. And again, I'm a little more of a jokester on that end. And by the end of the visit, if they have a smile on their face and they're just like, thank you so much for helping me smile today, because when we say the word impact, that doesn't mean that you're like moving a building, or, you can have, it could be the smallest impact, because I always say, you never know when you speak to somebody, you never know who you're pulling back from a ledge. That something you say to somebody, that person could be thinking about hurting themselves or doing something, running away, whatever the case may be, but you could say a sentence or a phrase or some sort of encouragement to them, and you may never know that you had such an impact on somebody's life. So don't think that you have to be on a stage or on social media or on TV to make an impact. You can make an impact with people you're with every day. And I think that's something I enjoy as a physician, is that every day I get to make an impact. And, I hope and pray that it's a positive impact. And it's a good feeling. We don't always know everybody we impact, but when somebody comes to you and says, like, thank you so much, you did this, you may not know it, or, hey, thanks for doing this if you did a favor. I mean, it feels good, because who doesn't like a little gratitude to know that you're doing a good job?
Absolutely. And that they say that the person who's giving the kindness, it has a higher happiness kick for them than it does to the person receiving the kindness.
I believe it.
So there's a reason why, like you're saying, who doesn't like a little gratitude, of course, and at the same time, like you're saying, is you never know what kind of seeds of happiness and love you're planting in the world, which is essentially what you and your sister Camille did at the Loveathon on Saturday. So, keeping that in mind, I think that one of the things that I really wanted to ask you, as far as, I think the UBU is really important. I think that you figure out who you are when you have the biggest challenges in life. And I don't know whether or not there's anything in your life that you might want to share that's actually helped you, guide you to where you are today as a doctor, an author, a speaker, because, that wake-up call always happens. And I'm always curious as to what is the story behind the wake-up call.
Well, I think, I'm the little sister, and in our culture, so this gets a little tricky. So in our culture, and I think this is a lot of cultures, the culture looks at fair skin as like, oh, fair skin is beautiful. And it's so funny, because when you move over here, people are like, oh my gosh, I love your skin because you don't have to tan. It's just so funny how cultures are so different.
Yeah.
And, even when I was younger, people used to make the comment, because my sister's much lighter than me, that, how come you're so much darker? And I mean, it's not like I had that choice. I always say there's not like a button in the room.
They ask you that, though.
Yeah. Yeah. And, and I guess I didn't say anything. And my mom always brings up the story that somebody talked about like my legs. I guess I was wearing a dress and they mentioned my complexion. And then she said from that point on, I wore really long socks. She said you would wear pretty much like thigh high. So you would cover your legs because, you know, people would mention your complexion. And I will say for some time, you know, I lived with that, you know, I'm not like good enough because I'm dark, you know, I'm darker complected. And, but then with prayer, and I feel God also helped me to bloom into, and of course my parents, to bloom into who I am. And as you know, Meg mentioned, the strong woman I am today. And, you know, I came out of that and said, you know, I am good enough. Hey, like I'm good enough to do this. I can do this. And then, you know, and as you get older, of course, when you're younger, things that people say have a little bit more effect on you. But as you get older, you're like, that doesn't matter. You know, that doesn't change anything.
Yeah.
And even when I started to apply to medical school, I remember even some people in our own church were like, you know, why are you going to medical school? I'll never forget my guidance counselor in high school, and I was a straight A student. He said, you shouldn't apply to medical school because I don't feel that. Yeah, it was like all the odds were going against me. People were like, why are you doing this? All of this. But I knew in my heart from a very young age, I knew in my heart that I wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to be a steward and serve other people. And I just stuck the course. And as far as everything that's happened, I just feel like God has put this purpose with my, you know, experience as a doctor, being a mom of triplets, to like put that in order to help, you know, to help other people realize that, hey, like if I'm a doctor and I have triplets and I have a busy life, like you can go after whatever you want to, because I really do feel as women, especially mothers, we're really good at putting our own wants, desires, and ambition on the back burner. We're so good about that because we always put, especially our children, but our families before anything else. And I think a lot of times we sacrifice what we want. And you keep saying, oh, I'll do it then, I'll do it later. And after a while, I said, you know what, I'm going to step up and do this, because ultimately, you, again, going back to that legacy, you want to leave that legacy. And your thought, your ambition isn't your legacy. It's your tangible product and the impact that you've made that is your legacy.
And, you know, I think I have to tell you, and I have to show everybody this beautiful photo of you in your gloves. And I was going to ask you what exactly you were doing. It looks like a celebration there, but I found that one. I wanted to find something that you actually, you know, practicing. And I love your smile. It's fantastic. You look just incredibly blissful. You know, one of the things I really, really, really pay attention to, and I think I've been not surprising you said purpose like 4 times, because I've been channeling the whole idea of, you know, really looking at engaging people from that place of purpose, on purpose for great purpose. And I think on purpose certainly is something that's really important to actually think about, because a lot of people don't realize that there are miracles, that all of us are miracles, and that each person is here for something specific, a calling, and their job is to answer that calling, and however that looks like to how we show up. Just like you're saying, no guidance counselor is ever going to tell you anything differently, because you know what you're called to do, which is, you know, a doctor. And then, you know, obviously God thought greatly of you because he gave you 3 children at once, which, you know, would have done me in. And I think that's the reason why I know that I only had, you know, single children 6 years apart, because I knew I couldn't handle much more than that. But the whole point is that, like you're saying, is that your purpose, and then when you're actually aligning to that passion, to that purpose, you know, when you feel like, I mean, I've seen you talk and I've seen you present, and it's really quite a beautiful thing, because it, you know, the goosebumps, you get goosebumps because you see something resonating with you, and you, that's a joy-filled experience, and you want more people like that out in the world to have that experience. And that might be the impact that you have, is because you're stepping into your purpose to shine. And I think, you know, that's, once again, you connect to your internal source, life rises to meet you. And how you hear, how it speaks could be through so many different ways. And you definitely have an audience with other physicians. Your husband's a physician as well, so they speak your language. And, you know, you find your tribe. So keeping that in mind here, this is about introducing people to extraordinary people. And I always say the ones that I met over the years are the most extraordinary. And it doesn't have to be Dr. Oz, although I have met him. But, the bottom line is that what you're doing in your life is extraordinary. And there should be a light that shines on you, because everybody, like literally everybody who owns it, right? So I'm happy to highlight you, and I really want people to meet you and to connect with you and to see you do your thing in your Dr. Mom show and just really engage, because I think there's so many different ways, and that makes this whole world, makes it, the love goes, makes the world go round, but also our love of what we do makes the world go round. So, the spirit of learning, and you're gaining new perspective during others. What do you think is the one thing that really moves you forward in life at this point?
You're probably going to laugh at me because I'm saying just my purpose, fulfilling my purpose. I completely agree with you. We were all put here. God has a purpose for us. I sent Meg, my favorite verse is Jeremiah 29:11 that says, God says, "For I know the plans that I have for you, not plans to harm you, but of good, of prosperity, of good success." And, everybody's not meant to be a doctor. Everybody's not meant to be a lawyer. Everybody's not meant to do that. But we need everybody. We need, what would we do without people who, do our sewer lines? People may think of sewer and be like, oh my gosh, I would never do that. But what would we do without those people? It would smell like poop everywhere.
Yeah.
So I think the purpose is what drives me, that at the end of the day, when all is said and done, I know that I fulfilled whatever God has wanted me to do and touched the lives of whoever he wanted me to touch during my time here.
And I want to read that quote again. I put it up, but I think it's really impactful for everyone who's hearing what Delene said is, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." And I think that's really important for us to listen to at this point in time, especially. And what you say is that the trust in that. And I find, faith extraordinary. And I really do believe that regardless of whether you believe there's actual God or the universe or an energy or whatever scientific approach you have, there's this faith, this seed that's planted in you that gives your life a lot of what we're talking about, the purpose and how you be you. That is, have you ever planted I don't even know if that's a seed for a rose, but have you ever planted and seen a daffodil come up? No, you'll have a rose bloom, because that's what that is. It's a rose, and it's going to show the signs of a rose, just like, Delene with her beautiful complexion and her intelligence and, her socks that are all up her knee, that is you. That is the beauty of the you. And that is really important, because if one thing was missing, it wouldn't be the extraordinary you. And I think that that's what you do to others, is you really impact others by having them see themselves in you, in that. And the beauty of that, which I think is really important. So, so how can you best engage others to step up and empower themselves, especially now when, we're all tired. We're really tired. I think everyone's agreeing on that point. We're all tired, and, maybe we empower each other to be part of the solution. How do we do that? Like, how would you say the words of the wise, Delene, how would you say that to have other people grab onto their purpose and make a difference in the world?
So I really think it's important. Like, I love vision boards. I love journaling, things like that. I'm a very visual person, something that's tangible, because you can think it and you know what you'll forget. Like, if you say, oh my goodness, tomorrow I have to remember to email Meg, and I'll wake up, I have to write it down somewhere, and then I'll do it. And then it's another way to keep yourself accountable. When you write it down. So get a vision board, and you don't even need anything fancy. You can get a piece of paper and just hang it up on your wall. But, write down all the things you love, all the things that you love about your life right now, and things that are currently not in your life that you would love to do or see come to pass. And so, for example, me, I'm going to use Dr. Oz. Like, I would love to have my show, my Dr. Mom show. So that's on my vision board. And I think really, again, going back to being authentic, you know, not thinking that whatever you want to do is dumb or stupid or it's not good enough. Because again, ultimately it goes back to your happiness. So I really think taking time, I feel a lot of us don't take the time to figure out, hey, what is my purpose? What do I really want to do? You know, now, you know, at schools, there's like liberal arts major, and that's like for people who don't know what they want to do.
It's kind of like the question mark.
Yeah. So you can do that, but I think in general, when you are looking for what is your purpose in life, and whether that's starting a course, and you know what's funny, it could be something little, like Meg and I were talking about. She's one of the girls who helped us with the Loveathon, and she is just so tech savvy, and she is on it. And you may think that what you know won't help people, but you would be surprised what little things you know. Like in my mind, I'm like, I wish you would just make a whole course about using different programs so that I can.
I'm going to call her out because she's amazing and she's on. Annie, you are amazing. And what you did, Annie's on, and Kanisa's on. And, you know, honestly, that's the collaboration of extraordinariness. That's, you know, that's what I mean.
Yeah. So, I mean, even if it's something little that you know how to do, there's so many people trying to learn things. So you may be awesome at something that somebody else isn't. Like people always say, how do you like manage your time? And people may think like, oh, what is that? But you know, just even giving tips. So I think it's just so important to sit back. And of course, again, you know, I'm a Christian. I seek God. I pray, you know, pray that God's purpose in my life be fulfilled. Hey, Annie, look, Annie's saying hi. We're calling you out, Annie.
You're amazing. And she, yeah, for sure. So I'm sorry, go ahead. You were saying.
Yeah. So definitely just taking time out and being authentic and true to yourself and not second guessing what you want to do.
Well, that is clearly the you be you. And you know, it's fun because you can do, like, I like that you're saying, write it down. Because I think when you write down, you capture something. You capture your genius to put in your back pocket for another day if you don't have the time right now, but you capture it. And I think, you know, they say a lot of authors, writers, you know, they take a pen and they start writing on their hand if they don't have something, because God forbid you lose that bit of genius and then it's gone. It's gone forever.
It's so true.
It might show up in someone else's book and you'll be like, hey, how could that happen? But the beauty is, and I'll speak to your beauty as well. Once again, how you wrote your own first 2 books, right? And then another book, and then you actually did a compilation. Maybe you can speak to this a little bit, and you can tell people about this compilation.
Yeah, my most recent book, I was the head author for Women of War, Peace in the Midst of the Storm, and it was 14 of us who came together, and really it's a book to help empower and lift individuals up. We each speak about our own struggle, because in that book you will find at least, I repeat, at least one chapter that that you can say like, hey, I totally went through that. And just a way to empower people, because at the end of the day, after we fight our battles, fight our wars, go through our struggles, it may not end exactly how we thought it or wanted it to end, but normally, and again, God always brings the victory at the end. And it may not, you know, the Bible says our ways aren't his ways and his ways are our ways, because we may, like, I may be like, God, like, why am I not Dr. Oz right now? I'm like working so hard, but it may be like, I'm not ready for that yet, you know? I wouldn't know what to do. And, you know, maybe it's like, hey, you need one more year before.
I want to tell you, oh, that's your beautiful daughter, right? That was your daughter?
Yeah, she was telling me it's nap time.
Oh, yeah, it's nap time. It's nap time, everybody. Is that what she said, nap time?
Well, she said it's bath time.
Bath time. Oh, everybody get their baths ready.
Yeah, get your bath. You get relaxed before your nap time.
Yeah, so make sure you do a really hot bath, put some lavender in there, and prepare yourself so that will be your gift to yourself after getting inspired by this impactful woman that I'm talking to right now. You know, I was going to say as well, you know, one of the cool things about, you know, people who help you be accountable to your dreams. I love that. And that's the coach in you, right? That's what one of the things that I absolutely love as I get excited. Well, we were talking about before, I go too fast because I talk too fast when I get too excited. I get excited when someone plants some new bit of information and I can actually use it and I can take that to the next level. So this is the exciting part of my show because, conversations with extraordinary people like yourself can be the catalyst for others to understand more about how to feel more alive on a daily. So it's time to manifest. And I really believe that the takeaways are as important as the conversation because these are things that you've learned over time that have really worked for you. So what's important to you now, Delene?
So really, my family is on top with my children, just making sure that as at such a young age that I'm imparting into them, because you have to remember they're like little sponges.
Yes.
At this age, and the routine they have, what they learn now will stay with them forever. So that's definitely a priority. And again, just fulfilling my purpose and putting down my legacy. So, as they get older, I always said, as I started to do things, people were like, oh my goodness, why are you doing all this stuff? And I said, it's cool for them to say, hey, my mom's like a cool doctor. But I wanted to be like, hey, my mom's a cool doctor and she's an author and she's a coach and she's an entrepreneur. Because then they know for a fact that they can do whatever they want to do. And even Meg is a perfect example of that as a lawyer. You don't have to, just because you learn something, you don't have to stay boxed in.
Yeah.
You can step out of your comfort zone, step out of that box and do other things.
Yeah. I have to tell you what you just said is that they're watching. They watch you all the time. And I never think that my kids are like really paying attention. But when my nephew says something at the Thanksgiving table that I've inspired him, I know my kids must be doing something. So yeah, so it was like definitely, and I think they're so confused. I think they're all confused. Because I think if I can articulate something that actually I'm doing, it wouldn't make any sense to anybody anyway. But yes, I absolutely agree. There's no lane. There's no staying in your lane. Strong women don't stay in their lane. They branch out, which I love that you said that. So you're prioritizing your family and your values are really teaching your kids. So how do you start acting from this alignment of your values and what you want to prioritize so that you can be more effortless in the unfolding of your vision for your life?
Oh, I don't know about effortless. Effortless is a very strong word for me right now because there's a lot of effort going into everything. Maybe I'll be back on the show when I hit the effortless part. And I'll give you the secret. The show will be the secret of living effortlessly.
I have to tell you, there's a story behind the word. I had a friend a long time ago when I was doing my master's, and every time that she was asked to do something, she goes, effortless. And I think
I love it.
That word into life. She was hoping that life would rise to meet her, like we were saying before. So that's why I say, effortless? Is it effortless? Like, because I will do what I have to do, and then the rest will be effortless. So
I love it. She's just speaking it. She's calling it into being. I love it.
Dr. Mom over here, and the effortless unfolding of her syndicated national show is going to happen because it'll be effortless. After you learn what you need to learn and do what you need to do, everything is going to be like all the pieces of the puzzle come together. But for you, what do you think that act of alignment feels like?
So I think really the act of alignment is just taking one day at a time and one step at a time. Even though, when you hear about me and, Meg and I talk about all the things that I've done, that I'm doing, that I'm planning and praying to do, it's really one thing at a time. And, I feel individuals like Meg and myself where, we're juggling so many things, it's easy to get caught up in too many things. And I am a firm believer in that it's okay to say no. It's not in a bad way when you say no, but you have to know when your plate is full. Because, again, I'm a firm believer in quality over quantity. Yeah. So I never want to do something that is of poor quality. And then, again, when I look back, I'm like, hey, I wasn't aligned. I kind of went like that because I was back and forth. So I would say for me to get into alignment, for sure, just taking one step at a time, one day at a time. There's only a certain amount of hours in the day to get things done. And then again, going back to my belief of, being in tune with what God's saying and what is my priority at this point.
I like it. It's beautiful. And, I think that when you're going like this, you can't hear,
Yeah.
you can't hear the messages. Like, I'm like, why do you think I missed this? Because all of this is happening.
Yeah. I mean, I will say, to be honest, sometimes it is going like that. There's no.
Well, I have a very dear friend. They did this picture, a visual, since we're both visual. I'll add this. And they're like, it's like, here you are in the middle. There's your line. You can kind of see it. And then this is life and life and life and life and life and life. And they say maybe that your daughter's got the best wisdom tonight because take a bath, and maybe you'll get back to that just one line again, right? After you take your bath. So your little meditative practice, which I think is amazing, in addition to the writing, which I love, I think it has a lot of impact and power in those reminders. And certainly, what would be a great tool other than the writing situation that people can do today, like right now, in addition to writing all that they're grateful for, all the good things that are happening in their life, what's something that they can do right now, like when they get off after the bath, in the bathtub.
Well, making sure you get enough rest. And I think the other thing is having a good support system and almost like a good either accountability partner and, somebody who supports you. And, I feel so blessed because meeting Meg through Jessica, I think, is just an awesome group of women where everybody really supports each other. It's not like, oh, I see Meg's doing this, how come she's doing that and I can't, and it's not jealousy. It's all about, I remember one of the speakers at one of the conferences, Miss Vicky, she said, when my elevator's going up, I'm grabbing as many women as I can to go up with me.
Yeah.
And I think that's just really powerful because, I even, like there's Dr. Oz, there's a doctor show, and I could in my mind say, oh, well, nobody needs me. But you know what? Those aren't going to touch everybody's lives in the world. They can't. And again, going back to personality, certain people are attracted to you. So yes, your vibe attracts your tribe.
Yeah.
So there will be people who are like, oh, I love the Dr. Mom show because I love Dr. D. She's so awesome.
And they want more of you. And they want more. Nobody's going to get more of you.
Like, I don't like Dr. Oz, So I feel, certain people are attracted to you in that way. So definitely getting a great group that is supportive and people who can keep you on point and keep you in check, where they're like, hey, Meg, you were talking about starting your Facebook Live. I haven't seen it yet. Do you have a date you're working on? And again, they're not people who are harsh or criticizing you. They make sure there are people who will give you constructive criticism because you don't want to go out looking ugly. So make sure.
I don't know what that is.
Make sure they give you constructive criticism and they're honest. And, it's just somebody you love and that you love too. And you guys can build off of each other. Give each other ideas. Of course, it's really nice to be with somebody who's working on a project that's similar to yours. It doesn't have to be exactly the same, but I know Meg is also a coach, so it'll be nice even if she has another coach that's doing something completely different. Yeah. You could say like, hey, we want to do this, or we want to make a master class and you work on it together, but it's two separate, courses that you're doing. So I think just being surrounded by people who will support you, but also be honest with you at the same time.
I think that's fantastic. And, at the beginning of the interview, I asked you to set your intention for this evening. So I would love to know what exactly was your intention for this conversation. And mine's always to have fun. So I always pick people I like to talk to because that makes me have fun and I enjoy it. And so now what is it that was your intention tonight?
Of course, to hang out. Well, number one was to hang out with Meg because, we don't get to hang out, especially now with the virus. Yeah. But I think my intention, too, was to, get my message out there because I'm a believer that people don't know what you have to offer until they know. Nobody knows who Dr. D Mama 3 is until they know who Dr. D Mama 3 is.
Right.
So I think that's part of it, too, just getting in front of other people who don't know, who may benefit, from what I have to offer and what I do.
Yeah. So that's awesome. So the quote that you picked today was page 17 of the Magical Guide to Bliss. So why don't you read the page that you picked for everyone tonight? And this is the thing I like to say, it's the magical insight that comes to you, and I really do believe it comes through, and but comes from above, and you share it with whoever needs to hear it. So if they're on and you need to hear a message of inspiration, this is what Delene's gift is, in addition to her amazing, extraordinary talents tonight.
So this is trust your choices. Since every choice is a fork in the road, each decision brings with it new hope and promise. Richard Carlson, PDH, is an American author of Don't Sweat the Small Stuff, and it's all small stuff, so remember that. In every moment of life, you get to make choices. Look at this as a very good thing. With each decision, you are empowered to take in whatever information is available and wisely set a course in the direction of your dreams. While some choices may appear big and others small, each is significant in that it could alter the trajectory of your path and bring new hope and promise. Using your sixth sense as a guide, you can be confident that when you choose what you will create, every little thing will ultimately be all right. When you decide to live consciously, you become focused, aware, and ready for any challenge. So when you come to that fork in the road, you can be sure that as you choose what you want most in life, whatever you elect will bring beauty to your world. When you look at your life as if you are the director in your own play, you can greet whatever scene follows with enthusiasm and grace, effortlessly.
I didn't even know that.
I know. I forgot. So as you start each new act on your journey, keep in mind that you are able to choose to align your spirit with the purpose that drives your soul. This state of mind is a great way to embolden a beautiful life, happy decision making, and decide that you will proceed today with great enthusiasm for life.
That's awesome. Oh my God. And I have to tell you, with, the words that you say tonight, I know they're mine, but coming from you, it has a really profound impact. Certainly, I hope that the choice that you made to come on this show with me tonight, has great benefits for you, that more people know about your incredible Dr. Mom show and your incredible philosophy and everything from this point on. I'm a big fan of yours, Delene. So certainly, we're here to support each other in this world and collaborate with each other. And if we can be a voice for the other person and give them a platform so they can be heard, it's really important. And then we can all enjoy our lives effortlessly, because, when we bask in the extraordinariness of each other, then it definitely is more fun. And that's kind of where I'm going at this point, because, I'm tired of people stabbing each other in the back.
I know it.
That's too divisive. And when your Loveathon also spoke to that point. And I wanna I'll put this up here again, because I think it was really something I think that, I want people to take with them tonight, in addition to, you getting to give us your final inspiration. I want this to be up there as you speak, because I think it's really kind of beautiful when you can trust the process. And I think that was trust your choices. So trust your choices, but also trust that you're not alone in this world. And certainly the supportive element around each of us that we find our tribe is really amazing. So give us your final bit of inspiration tonight.
Yes, so tonight, I just personally want to encourage you that you are good enough. You do have a purpose in this world that will make an impact, and you're meant to be here to fulfill your true purpose, and you just have to find it. Just take the time to find it, and no purpose is insignificant, not at all. You are significant, so I want you to remember that. And going back to the scripture verse, Jeremiah 29:11, that God has everything worked out. It's hard, but again, if you have faith and believe, and like Meg said, trust the process. It may not be on our timetable, but trust the process and it will happen. You will turn your pain into purpose.
That's beautiful. Oh my God. I can't imagine a better way to actually end the month of July. We have a couple more days, but just remember that you got this. We got this. We got this together. And I'm going to go ahead. I would love for you to, tell everyone where they can find you on the social media, social networks, and speak it, because this is going to be in a podcast form too. So I want to make sure that the people who listen hear you actually say it. So I'll put it in the feed as well, but I want people to hear you as well, so we can support your journey and support your vision. And you can invite all of us to come on the show with you.
Yeah.
That sounds like fun, right?
Out there, come on. Come on down. So you can check me out on my website. That's www.drdelenemusielak.com. And I'll have Meg spell it out, but it's Dr Delene, Delene Musielak, Musielak.com. And then you can follow me on Instagram at drmom_show. And then on Facebook, it's the Dr. Mom Show that you can follow on. Of course, you can email me. I love getting any content that you want me to touch on. You can email me at drmomshow@gmail.com. And then, of course, Meg mentioned my Facebook group called Fearless, Flourishing, Fulfilled Female. So just facebook.com/Fearless, Flourishing, Fulfilled Females. And of course, if you check on YouTube, the Dr. Mom Show, I would love for you to subscribe and, of course, follow and share. My season, I totally forgot. My new season started today. I told Meg it was like a crazy rush. But this season, I'm focusing on being the best and happiest mom that you can be, because moms deserve it. We deserve it for sure. We work really hard, so moms deserve it. So this season is dedicated to making sure our moms are happy, and that I'm getting experts on and giving the best tips for moms to live a wholesome life, spiritually, physically, mentally, and emotionally.
Awesome. That's amazing. So I will, like I said, put the information out for you guys as well, but definitely support Delene. She is a light, and she has tons of wisdom to share, and she's definitely fun to be around. And I'm telling you, her vibe is good. So align with that vibe and take those tips that you have tonight, writing, as well as, truly believing in yourself and your purpose, and fly. And you, be the most authentic you. And, today's insight was come with me and fly, won't you? And, start using your imagination to travel into this world of bliss with us as you open up to really embrace the beauty of yourself. So I want to remind you that I'm here to help you manifest your dreams and live the life you want with purpose. You can contact me as well at megnocero@mac.com for any kind of questions. And if you want me to help you, contact Delene as well. I love to have people come alive to the beauty of their dreams. Thank you so much, Delene, for all that you do, and where the audience can find you. It's going to be an exciting adventure, I'm sure. We'll all watch you and be cheering you on. And remember, we're together, deliberate creators of our lives. We need to dream big and really let all together raise the vibration of this world, this planet, so we can all live in bliss and enjoy the magic and the miracles that we all are. We can shine our beautiful lights together. So let's love ourselves exactly the way we are, and embrace the becoming, and reach out to others so they can join along and spread the love. Time to manifest your dreams, everyone. Blessings and bliss. Thank you so much again, Delene. Wonderful opportunity to talk to you tonight. I love you very much. And all of you as well. Have a wonderful evening, and we'll see you next time in August.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.